Good morning, everybody. Afternoon. Happy Memorial Day. Thank you to all the fallen vets. Thank you for everything that you've done. We appreciate you. So today I want to talk about all the things we learned from all of the previous Lisa lessons. And then also from like different friends. Hey, Pads. Hey, Lola. How you guys doing? Good morning, afternoon. Okay. So the first episode was perception of money. What I took away from that specific lesson was self-love, because if you love yourself enough to believe that you can get that much money or get that car, get that job, or whatever it is that you want, you can do it. But you got to believe in yourself first. So that's the first thing I took from it, self-love. Yeah, it's not about believing you can get that. It's about believing that you can get that. Yeah. Okay. Hey, Wilhelmina. Hey, Jacqueline. Okay, so fear can play a big part. Okay, so motherhood before motherhood. That lesson was very touching to me because, yeah, motherhood kind of freaks me out. What did I take from it? Fear can play a big part. I believe that fear can play a big part. Hey, Mom, how you doing? So one of the questions she asked inside on the episode is, what if I'm not good enough in being a mother? And I opposed that question. I said, well, what if you are? And so it's that thing. I was talking to Portia. I don't know if anybody knows Portia. She's an amazing human being. And she was talking to me yesterday, and she's like, it's about manifestation, and the bigger the thing that you want to manifest, usually the greater the fear. And that kind of blew my mind, because there are some things that I really want to happen and they're huge. But of course, that fear is big too. So I got to jump over that hurdle and just speak life to it, because it's going to happen. And I ask that you take that journey with me, because anything you want, you can do. You just got to believe it and make it come to life. All right, so the third episode, we are watching you. Hello, beautiful. Hi, baby. Hey, guys. The third episode was Dating Today. This episode is a little dear to my heart because it was my mom. And she was talking about dating, and it was a really dope episode. And the thing I took away from you, Mom, is basically, and this is not just in dating. This is in relationships. This is in life. Don't bring your baggage from the past into your new chapters. So let's say your last job sucked, and for whatever reason you had a terrible relationship with your boss or whatever. That doesn't mean your new boss is going to be the Antichrist. You got to try with a fresh start and go with a positive attitude. How you doing? I'm good, Cindy. How you doing? Hey, Michael Kingsbaker. How you doing? All right. Now, the fourth episode was titled What Makes You. This was with Peter Collier. And I love Peter because he kind of answered it. What makes you is what makes you happy. So whatever it is that creates and you define yourself by usually makes you happy. Okay? This is a terrible example, but if drugs makes a drug addict happy, that's usually how they don't define themselves that, but society sometimes defines them that way. Doesn't necessarily mean it's true. And what I took from that is just, it's not necessarily about the end result. It's about the journey, and it's about being happy. And sometimes you get that end result and it doesn't make you happy, right? So it's really about finding that inner happiness first. And sometimes you find it with success, sometimes you don't. Sometimes you find out that it's really simple for you, and all you really need is good friends and good family. Cake makes you happy. I'm so happy, Cindy, that cake makes you happy. That's something you can do. You can make cake. What do you wish for was the seventh episode. This was with Mackie Borden. He's a beautiful human. And what I took from that is just knowing what you want. Knowing what you want is like half the battle. There's a lot of really, really amazing, talented, beautiful people. and they feel that they're wandering, and it's because they don't know what they want. And there's nothing wrong with that, but I think once you kind of find or understand in the realm of what you love, you can somehow navigate that. And for those who are feeling lost or feeling like wanderers, I just ask you to open yourself up and leave that question to the universe, and speak it out loud, because sometimes saying things out loud really changes things. Stop laughing, Cindy. Okay. The eighth episode, which technically really wasn't the eighth episode, because I skipped two numbers, 5 and 6, so we're going to have to do those episodes, guys. How can we become better? And that was something that I took on myself, because I was talking to my aunt, Thea Valerie. Hey, what's up, Raul? How you doing? Thank you so much for the last episode. So I was talking to my Thea, and she's studying to be an occupational therapist. And I was just learning a lot from her, because I basically understood that if you want a better world, you should probably, here comes Michael Jackson reference, look at the person in the mirror. Because how are we supposed to go to other countries and be like, oh, you need this, you need to do that, or go to other people all up in their business, and you're not trying to work on yourself? That doesn't work. It really doesn't. It's kind of hypocritical. So let's work on ourselves together. I ask you to join me in that journey. All right. So episode 9, which was in episode 9, was called How Do You Feel About That? And that was an interview with White Boy, aka Steven. And it was basically a conversation about gentrification in the Heights, in Washington Heights. Hey, what's up, Ron? How you doing? And it was funny because when I asked him, it was almost as if he felt kind of proud about it, because Washington Heights, specifically where we live, used to be a street, specifically in the 80s, was a lot of drugs going on, a lot of drugs. Like, this was a spot if you wanted in bulk, and a lot of gang violence. And he saw it as he welcomes the change, and he's taking the thing that most people will call a negative, and he's making it into a positive. And so he's living his life through that. So I say, take a negative, make it into a positive, because if we just complain about things, then I think it makes us part of the problem. If we want to see change, we got to make change happen. So that means, I know I feel some type of way about gentrification. If we don't want to be gentrified, which is funny because technically I'm a gentrifier because I moved here. I'm from Florida. Let's talk about that, a Latina gentrifying. Ugh. So I think, not a solution, but what I think is, as Latinos, as different people of different communities, I think we should start owning land, like literally. If there's a place that you grew up in that you feel strongly about, like me personally, I love Wynwood Art District. I would love to have a warehouse and start a theater company there. Then I need to own if I don't want to get kicked out. And not to say that we should be getting kicked out, because we've been here. But one way to stop that is, one way, I think, this is not the right way. There are other ways. Start owning in these places. And I think we can grow our communities in that way. The last episode is What Would You Give the World? And this episode was dope. Hey, Chris, how you doing? This episode was dope because this was with Raul. And he said this without skipping a beat. This dude is so dope. He said education. I asked this man, what would you give the world? And he said education. And that to me blew my mind, because it wasn't about money. You can be poor and still be smart. You can be rich and still be dumb. It's a matter of taking education on and asking the questions of, well, what is it that I don't know that I don't know? Or what is it that I want to explore? And I think that makes us so much richer. And I'm not talking about money. I'm talking about richer as human beings. You can actually hold a conversation with others from other countries. And I'm guilty about this. I don't like watching news. But if I educated myself and started learning exactly what was going on, though it's extremely, extremely negative, I think we could change things. So this season is almost coming to an end, folks. And so I'm asking you to join my journey in learning things, taking the time to learn something new about someone and not judging them, taking the time to learn about different cultures so that we don't stick people in a box, because that's where stereotypes come from. And I hate being stuck in a box. I don't like it, but I think we all do it. And so working on that, working on ourselves and believing in these grand things, because if we can believe it and we can achieve it, like these people that are having these big companies or doing these amazing things, becoming astronauts, yo, these people were people like us who are sitting on our computer on a Monday, okay? They are people like us. So don't tell me nothing is possible. Everything is possible. You just got to believe it, and you got to go after that shit, all right? So I ask you to join me in that. Blessings. Check out the next Lisa lesson. I hope you listened and I hope you learned something. Guys, this season is coming to an end. We will be starting something super dope. So I ask you to join me on that journey, because it's going to be season 2. It's going to be something new. I don't want to leak it just yet because I got to get these things going. But yes. Blessings. I really do hope you have an amazing Memorial Day. I ask you to please remember those who have fought for our freedom. Even if we don't agree with war, they still put themselves out there. So thanking them and thanking their families, because there are a lot of hurting families still to this day. Blessings. I love you guys. I hope you know you are loved, you are light, and you can make a difference in this world. So do so, and do so by working on yourself first. All right. Check out Lisa lesson. I don't know what number this is because I messed up. 12 p.m. All right, I'll see y'all then.